All right, so I'm going to compare modern Williams with vintage Williams. And I'm going to put them in separate mugs. I'm going to lather with the same brush. I'm going to use Gillette Silver Blue blade. I think that's a good blade. I'm going to finish up with DR Harris Sandalwood. So let's start with the vintage here. Unbox it. I'm going to tilt this down. You can kind of see what I'm doing a little better maybe. Got the advert. Got a bunch of crystallization or something on there. Let's put the vintage, try to remember it, in this one. Dropped it in there. Modern. This garbage out of the way. In this one. Alright. So I don't get confused, I'm going to put the boxes behind the mugs here. Let's see, let's start, wet my face. I thought maybe do one side of my face with modern, do one side with vintage. I don't know how that'll work. So I'm going to lather one on my face, maybe rinse it off, and then I'll lather the other on my face so we can kind of compare how they each lather. Let's just start with the modern. Shake out about that much. Leave a little bit, leave a little water in there. And start loading. Puck's sliding around in this mug a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I'll still be able to get a decent load on there. That sounded funny. Just gonna load it for a little while here. Probably got a little too much water on the brush. I don't think that'll hurt anything with this soap. Or maybe it will. Looks real airy, real wet. Squeeze out some more water. And keep loading up. This is always exciting, ain't it? Hey, now everything's super slick. Just gonna rinse off my hands because I don't feel like dropping this brush and wipe off the bottom of the brush. It probably didn't help at all. Let's load a little more. That's gotta be good. Let's see what it looks like. Wet my face a little more. All right, here goes. Real wet, it seems. Got plenty of soap on the brush, where it might just be a little too wet. But I would still use it. I mean, you could see kind of see how it's not thick, got a lot of air to it, more watery. Well, this is the modern, and I would use this soap. I would use this lather exactly like it is. Look at all that. Not bad. I definitely use it. All right, let's rinse this off and lather up the vintage and see what happens. I'm gonna put just a little dab of water on it to help maybe soften it. I know I didn't do that with the modern. Probably already skewed the results. Not bothered to rinse off. This is making a big mess. Alright, how's that? Looks alright. Clean the brush of all of the modern soap. Fill the sink back up with water. It should be good. Alright, I'm going to try to use the same amount of water here in the brush. So that's about what I squeezed out the first time for the modern. Oops. Let's see what happens on the vintage. The puck is staying in place. This Old Spice mug has little grooves in the side that help to hold the puck. Well, it's getting about the same consistency. I'm trying to remember how long I loaded it for. I think about right here is where I squeezed out some of the water from the brush. Let's do that again. I don't know, kind of feels about the same. Let's keep loading. I'm gonna have to shave with one of these. I don't think I'm going to do half and half. Hey, getting about the, doing the same thing with this one as I did with the modern. Well, that's probably about what I did with the modern, so let's lather it up on my face and see what happens. Here's the brush. Wipe my face a little. And go to town. Maybe it's just me and my biased opinion of vintage Williams, because I love it, but it looks kind of thicker going on my face. Maybe y'all can see that. To me, it just feels thicker. So that might equal a more comfortable shave. All right, I think that's about the time that I spent lathering the modern. To me, this looks a lot better. I might have used more water, I might have used less with this, I don't know. It's really hard to do a comparison, but the brush looks better. The lather looks a whole lot thicker. Feels heavier. So I'm going to shave with this one. I'll just do another video, I guess, shaving with the modern. Although I could just wipe half of this off. Let me try that. Let's do that. Let me load this side up and I'll wipe the other half off. and lather with the modern on the other half. See if I can do it real quick. Alright, rinse the brush off as best as I could here. Wipe. Alrighty, I'd say that's wiped off. Wet the brush a little bit. Go with the mount like that. Here's the modern. Get a good quick load, hopefully. And the vintage is not dissipating really. I'm sure this will affect the shave though. Lathered up pretty good so far. Okay. Let's just use it. See a difference already. Again, it's probably wet, although no water is being squeezed out of it. Just feels light, you know? And I'm sure I didn't get a lot of soap on it because I'm in a hurry. Vintage, modern. This is the modern. Well, let's shave. I'm not going to turn the camera off because my hand's all wet and nasty, so you're just going to have to suffer through watching me shave. Vintage side, modern side. Probably skewed the results somehow, but the modern doesn't look nearly as good. So, let's see what happens here. First stroke on the modern side. Feels pretty good. Vintage side. Feels better. Feels a lot better. Vintage. Modern side. I hate shaving my mustache. I always seem to nick myself somewhere up here. Oh, there it is. And a tip for getting in your nostril right under there is to use, be careful, but use the corner of the blade and just kind of stick it up there. Really lightly. All right, let's rinse off and go for a second pass. Sorry about the water running. Normally I wouldn't video this part. Can't say my skin feels any different on the modern side versus the vintage side, but The modern side definitely, as far as the shave goes, felt differently than the vintage side. The vintage felt smoother. So I'm going to lather the vintage, and might as well lather the modern again, do the same thing I did before. Loading this up. Won't load as long. Nothing on my face. How about that? This is vintage. Seems weird just doing this on one half of my face. But this is about where I would stop normally and shave on the second pass. But because I want it to last, I'm going to take the rest of this off and put it, just look how, feels heavier, looks more cushiony. I mean, it's really good in my opinion. Put this off and do the modern. I'm trying to get the brush as free from the vintage soap as I can. And that's about really damp brush, so modern side. Really slick brush is making this hard. I'd say that's probably about what I did with the vintage just now. Let's see. Right away it just looks different. I'm sure somebody will point out what I did wrong or what wasn't exactly the same as doing with the vintage, but I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's just not going on as thick. You know, I know I squeezed the brush out over here, but before doing that, it's just not going on right as thick. So let's see. Yeah, just looks airy, real light. But let's finish this shave up because I need to put some aftershave on. My skin is not liking what I'm doing here. Second pass. Vintage Williams on one side, modern Williams on the other. Normally this is how I would do the second pass. Probably will get a lot of irritation with this shave because it's taking a whole lot longer to do. And this may be the last time that I ever do half and half on my face because I can tell that it is not liking it. Alright, that was an alright pass for the second. Look at how the modern side is just almost nothing there. But still doesn't feel bad. Might be the good blade I'm using. Gillette Silver Blue. That aftershave is going to burn. I make it through without any weepers, I'll be surprised. Especially my mustache. I will not be offended if you skip this part. This has got to be the most boring part of any shave video, is watching somebody shave. At least for me it is. I just can't do it. Ooh, yeah, there's a nice little one there. Go ahead and get that with the pencil right away. Alright, let's just call that's good. Skin doesn't feel any different on one side than the other. But I can definitely tell more cushion on the vintage Williams side, less cushion on the modern Williams side. But I'm gonna finish up with the DR Harris aftershave. Touch up any weepers that pop up. Looks like I've got one right there. Rinse off, get this over with. But in my assessment, vintage Williams, a whole lot better than modern Williams. Modern Williams is a decent soap. Can't find any vintage, but if you had to choose between modern and vintage, go with the vintage. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.